Welcome on in to Benchwarmers episode...
More than 20.
Oh, episode more than 20. I'm Alex. He's Daniel. We are here, week one of Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever. The Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever scores.
Is it Southern Classic Chickens?
I think that sounds better. Okay, I think...
Because it's Southern Classic Chickens. That means they own Friday Football Fever, which they kind of do.
Kind of. Here's how I... This is how I conceptualize it. It sounds better when it's Southern Classic Chickens Friday Football Fever alone. Mm-hmm. But the Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever scores and highlight show sounds better in that regard. So that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on whether or not you pronounce the S in the moment or not. But
yeah,
both sound great. Let's just get that out the way.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're chilling.
Yeah.
We're taking our team to the ring.
Yeah. Rings. With a Z. Shout out to the old promo back in the day.
Listeners would be very confused.
Yeah, that one coach in Wascom knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, if you're listening, I'm wearing the old. You're wearing a really throwback.
Yeah.
We're both wearing throwback Friday Football Fever shirts to celebrate the season, and I've got the one with the fist with the ring on it.
Yeah.
We had the Wascom coach famously in our promo that said, "Take your team to the rings," and pulled up both hands with the state championship rings on it.
But yeah, man, exciting.
Awesome.
Texas and Arkansas start their games for real.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to any Arkansas schools on the countdown. It just happens like that some years.
Yeah, it does.
Shout out to Jenkins City, Arkansas High,
Magnolia,
Magnolia. So
Nashville,
we're paying attention to you.
Prescott, Lafayette County.
Yeah,
we're rocking.
We'll get your scores on there for our scores and highlight show on the Southern Classic Chicken Friday
Mina.
Football Fever. Falk.
Let's
get them in there. We know.
Parker's Chapel.
Shout them out.
Come on.
The natural state, baby.
We know ball.
And then Louisiana the week after that, a bunch of jamborees going on. The Lions Club Jamboree, 72nd Annual Lions Club Jamboree.
Yep.
All those Bossier schools.
I got a hot take for you.
Deliver it.
Not a jamboree guy.
You're not a jamboree guy?
I mean, we're going to cover it.
Like the concept of a jamboree? Or?
No, the concept of jamboree is fine.
Uh-huh.
I just wish that it was all starting right now. I understand Texas and Arkansas had the bye week, so they start a week earlier, which I think isn't a bad thing either.
Yeah.
But the jamborees are fun to go to and to be a part of. But it's hard for me to get like super juiced for the jamboree highlight because it's not real unless something crazy happens.
I understand that. I guess I just remember jamborees are like a big celebration. You
Right.
It's kind of that pre-kickoff to the kickoff. You maybe have some tailgating.
Okay.
Somebody.
Long story short, it's really difficult to cover a jamboree.
Because it's like rosters may not be finalized just yet.
The scrimmages, and then it's different games, different teams. So, Mansfield's playing North DeSoto, and then Mansfield turns right around and plays Logansport right after that, and it gets confusing. It's exciting.
Quick story for you.
Okay.
Back in my old high school days when I played high school football, not to make it somber in a way, it is. My sophomore year of high school was the year that Katrina hit. This is the week that August 29th, 20th anniversary of Katrina. The Friday before we played a jamboree against Ben Franklin, I wasn't able to get in because my back was hurt, but I was like, oh man, I'm so gung-ho for the season. So it was just like that jamboree feel, that vibe. Prior year, played in another jamboree. So I just, as a player, you're so jacked up for the season. It's your first real opportunity. Just because it's just a scrimmage that ain't really got that vibe to it, but a jamboree really.
Yeah, the jamboree feels real. Like it does feel like this is the real thing. And it's that deal of, it's that football's back for the 800th time in the month of August. So we're excited. 10:30, KPXJ, CW21, this Friday and every Friday for the next 15 weeks.
Yeah.
So we are here. We're going to talk a lot about high school football with our interviews. So it is also week one of college football. It's difficult, I know, because you work on the weekend. But did you take in any week zero action?
Not a single snap. I watched preseason Saints football on YouTube TV over like a course of 3 days.
It's pretty terrible. I don't know. You actually went through and watched all of it.
I got through about, I'd say mid through the fourth quarter. I'll polish the rest of it off just to see it.
You still oh man.
Yeah. So I didn't see all of it, but I know Sam Ellinger looked like Steve Young and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, one of the stupid.
Sam Ellinger looked awesome.
One of the stupid aggregators online, which don't click on those people's stuff. Dove Kleinman.
Yeah.
It was like Bo Nix looks unbelievable, and it was Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah, but yes, the Saints played the Broncos. For those that weren't aware, Sean Payton coming to the Superdome, got a dub.
I kind of want to dive into this. So you watch a preseason football game as if it were like a Netflix show. You like stop off and you pick it back up at another time.
Yeah, morning rituals usually get the coffee going. Either watch the Dan Patrick Show or whatever I've got on the DVR at 20, 30-minute increments, fast forward the commercials, and then eventually pick it up, over time. If I can watch it in one sitting, I will. But low stakes preseason, just kind of want to see players.
Have you watched so you watched all 3 preseason games in their entirety?
Not all of them.
Okay.
No. I know you watched the condensed highlight version, but it's just something to watch. Whether it could be an Arsenal game, it could be an LSU baseball game, it can be something else, just like bits and pieces when I can't watch it in full, and I just happen to have the time to watch a little bit of the Saints.
I think
Broncos.
Where I'm trying to get to is that the regular season is going to be so miserable, and it's very commendable that you would subject yourself to more of this.
Yeah. Well, look,
because this is the first.
The Saints may go 0-17,
yes,
but if they wear the black tops and the gold pants, at least they'll look good.
Yeah, they look good
at home anyway,
and the gold jerseys too. They look really good in those.
They might grow me. I don't know. We'll see.
But I don't remember who tweeted this. I want to give credit, but I don't remember. But I saw it. It was awesome. It said the New Orleans Saints might be the first team in NFL history where no one won their quarterback competition.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
I said it on air this weekend. I was like, yeah, Kellen Moore's going to name a starter. Sometimes it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And the larger point was like, the Saints are going to be bad no matter who's at quarterback.
Like, they're both playing.
Right.
Like, they're both going to get starts.
Chuck's going to get some time.
Yes.
Because whether, it's like, all right, we're 6 weeks in, we're not getting the job done with, let's bring in Tyler Shuck.
When's that Jets game? Gonna dial into that one.
Man.
That's the one, baby. It's the one win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the start of to your earlier question, did I watch much college? No, I didn't. But yeah, I got a little bit of Saints in. I heard Farmageddon.
It was
Kansas
nuts.
State and
Iowa State. Then the quarterback of Kansas State's dad was fighting his son in the parking lot.
I heard about
which is totally fine, by the way.
Was that in Dublin?
Yeah. Like, that's just guys being dudes. I mean, sometimes you're gonna, sometimes you gotta scrap.
Right.
At least it was his family.
Right. So another kind of funny thing, I just did that story via Twitter because I guess the Kansas State player looks Caucasian because he's fairly fair-skinned, and his dad is a little bit more darker-skinned. As one that is black, Creole, I look white, so I kind of had the struggle there. Like, I understand that. Like, if you saw a picture of my dad, like, hey, look at Daniel, he's of color or whatever like that. Right. So, like, I kind of had a bond there in that sense of, like, hey, man, good for you.
Good for you.
You're black, you look white, but,
you're just beating on your kid.
Yeah, ignore the family issues.
Good for you, man.
This is about, skin tone and representing your pride in your family.
Love that. So I did watch a little bit of Week 0 action.
Yeah.
I was at GeekCon this weekend. Fabulous event.
Did you go as Kylo Ren?
I did for a bit. It was pretty hot, so it didn't last. I was in Kylo for about, in the Kylo costume, Matt, for about 4 hours ish.
Okay.
So that was
that's a good chunk of time.
Yeah, and we were there at the 501st.
Your standard length SEC football game, about 4 hours. Yeah.
And so I missed the earlier games. Like I did miss most of Farmageddon. I was just catching it like here and there on my phone. But it was one of those. I had a moment at GeekCon. Okay. After I changed out of the cosplay, I went to the restroom, and felt nice outside this weekend. Wasn't too hot, and I was like, you know what? I was upstairs at the convention center, the little balcony area there. I looked at the clock, and Kansas and Fresno State was about to start, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out on this balcony, overlooking downtown. I'm gonna watch the first couple drives of this game. Just peaceful, and it was lovely. Yeah. And the Kansas quarterback, I feel like he's probably the best player in the country now after watching those first couple drives. And it was one of those moments where it was a breeze coming through. It was a little cooler outside. I'm watching football, so peaceful. We're back. Felt great.
College football in August just doesn't feel right on a spiritual level. I get it. It's nice to have it back, but I'd need it to be September in college football to happen. Maybe that's, a misguided thought this day and age when the eventual 24 team field of the playoff. God, I hope it's not 24. Like, can we make something exclusive and not, like everybody gets in? Like, the 24th ranked team does not deserve to be in the playoff.
Even
like,
the NFL, like too many teams make the playoffs in the NFL. Not enough teams make the playoffs in the NHL, though.
Sabres can't get in there, man. I'm sorry, bro. But just like
I was kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I was kidding.
But that's a larger point of eventually. I mean, we might be starting college football games in mid-August.
Yeah, we're going to get this bracket of 64.
Right. Golly.
That'd be awesome. See, I'm like all for
college basketball is probably going up to 72. If it's like in that kind of the first first four games, like that may be tolerable. But even then, like
just like
go back to 64.
64.
64 is the perfect.
Yes, I agree.
Go.
But when it comes to college football, I feel like you had a different experience with college football. Like I never had a team. Like I went to LSU, so I didn't really like have a.
Yeah.
I felt like a phony, like bleeding purple and gold.
I mean, there are levels to it if you're in the sense of like if you put that kind of put yourself in a box, if you will, of like just because I didn't attend the school doesn't mean I don't have. No, you have the right to. There are hundreds of thousands of people in Louisiana that never stepped on LSU's campus outside of maybe a game day.
But I do pull for them. I want LSU to do well.
Yeah.
I don't root against them, but.
I feel like, if you do attend the school, there's a little bit more there.
And you went to games as a student. Like, it's a much different. So, to you, college football is like this beautiful, special thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it shaped your life. I mean, you're sitting here doing this right now.
I went to college to LSU to cover LSU to get the experience of what covering sports is like.
For me, I'm just like, guy in the Roman gladiator stands. It's like, just like entertain me. I don't like 60-team playoff. Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's get weird with it. I think my little earpiece just died. We're not worried about that right now. But I did want to bring up college football because we're going to talk a lot of high school football. I figured we'd do NFL next week. Let's do a little quick college football preview. I know we've already gone long because we've been yapping for 20 minutes, but obviously the big one's LSU.
I thought you were going to say Grambling and Langston University in Shreveport.
Well, that is a big one too. We'll get to that. Okay.
Sorry.
We're going levels. We're levels here. You know what? No, you're right. Let's start there. Langston, LSU. Shreveport Kickoff Classic, I think it's called.
Shreveport Kickoff Classic. 7 p.m. Langston University and the Grambling State University Tigers coming to Independence Stadium. I will be there for the first half.
Yep.
We will have an additional photographer to get the close of that game. But it's always exciting to have a local team that we cover come to Shreveport because it makes our jobs easier. And this will probably be one of the few games I cover for Grambling this year. I'm excited to see what Mickey Joseph can do with the Tigers in Shreveport. Hopefully get a win, set themselves up for other games down the line. But I think I'm more excited for the band to see how that sounds there at Independence Stadium. We have some great high school bands that play in there.
Yeah,
Huntington, Woodlawn to come to mind, Southwood. The world famous Grambling Tiger Marching Band. Looking forward to seeing that in person.
Can you have Matt say something to you? Can you hear?
I unplugged myself.
I can hear.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not doing this for nothing.
Are we editing? We're going to edit this out?
No, we're going to keep everything in. That's what we do with the Benchwarmers. And I'll edit this too since you got a bunch of stuff going on.
Okay.
But we're keeping all this in. The viewers, the listeners, come with us on our journey of flying by the seat of our pants every day.
Awesome.
So I think that game will be awesome. More college football in Shreveport's better. Obviously, Centenary getting their season going here in a couple weeks. We're looking forward to that too.
They start their season in September, as they should.
Right. There you go. There you go. So we got Northwestern State. They're hosting Alcorn on a Thursday. Come on.
Demons got to get that dub. I don't know if it's going to happen against Alcorn, but at least it's going to sound good at Turpin Stadium. Alcorn's got a sweet band too.
They do, and I do love everything that Blaine McCorkle, their head coach, has been saying about this team. I mean, look, and he said it at the they were in town. Northwestern State was last week for that for the kickoff luncheon with the Independence Bowl, and he was saying he was very frank in saying that. Last year's team, you love all your teams, but last year's team was hard to like.
Yeah.
And it was not his team. I mean, he comes in and he's got to put some pieces together and put something on the field. I mean, they didn't win a game, but the way he's talking this season, way different than last season. Last season was all about we're building something, we're working. This season is I love these guys. They're hungry. I can't remember the exact word he said. I think it was like selective rage or something like that.
Selective rage.
I don't think that was exactly it, but it was something like that. Like I think maybe he said happily mad or something like that. Like they're excited to be mad about everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So I love I like him. I mean, I just like I like the things he says. I think he's the right guy for the job, and hopefully they can. Let's just get that one win. Just like I say with Southwood, let's get that one win. Let's break that streak, and we can go on from there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen under McCorkle.
Yeah.
They won't go winless this year.
No.
I can, say that with confidence.
Yes.
They will get a win in the Southland at some point. Hopefully, they get a win. Thursday against Alcorn. We'll see what happens with them.
And I'm going to hope that you've got this information because my brain is full of a lot of high school football facts. Louisiana Tech is playing
a football game. I'll be 1,000% with you. I'm high school mode right now.
We both are.
I got stories on the brain.
There's only two of us.
They're going to be Everloyal B. Where are they playing, Matt? In Southeastern. Is it in Ruston? It is in Ruston. Shout out to Matt for that information.
Southeastern in Ruston, huh? Okay.
Ryan Ivey, do not listen to this podcast, please. Louisiana Tech Athletics Director, who we had on a couple of weeks ago. We are human. We are not a wealth of information or knowledge at all times, but Louisiana Tech plays a football game.
Now, look.
Against Southeastern.
I'm going to defend ourselves a bit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I kind of do want to cut this out, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But we had Northwestern State was just here.
Right.
And we had Grambling here today.
Yeah.
So, we knew that was fresh on the brain.
Yeah.
Our bad, okay? Our bad, Tech people.
Regal Blues, man. Shout out to Courtney Butts.
High school football has been dominating everything that we think about. But Tech, interesting team to me this year. I think the offense will be better. I think the team overall is going to be better. I don't think we're going to see what we've seen these past few years.
They have to be better.
Well, yeah. Sonny Cumbie taking a step back this year. He's got two new coordinators. One of them a former Louisiana Tech coordinator on offense. The thought process for Cumbie this year is I'm going to take a step back, do more of that CEO type coach, and let these coordinators do their thing. I think that's going to work out better because this is his first head coaching experience. He's got to find who he is as a coach, and I know it's got to be tough when you're that offensive minded guy to then have the whole. The whole spectrum of stuff on your plate.
And something that we don't do is we don't give people time to learn and mistakes. And so you got a 3-year window. Sometimes it's even shorter than that, depending on how those other 2 years go. But it's like you got a 3-year window to succeed, and then that's it.
But let's call it what it is. This is make or break.
Yeah, it's got to be
for them. And they're moving to the Sun Belt. I do think greater times are ahead for this team. I think that move from the Sun Belt is going to be huge for them, recruiting wise too. We've seen them in the area getting local guys. They're going to be better. I mean, they've struggled to find consistency at quarterback. I mean, they've rotated guys. I think maybe they've got one this year. I think they settled on their guy last year there toward the end. I think Tech will be better. And man, I mean, I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but it would be pretty dang sweet if they did it and they won the Conference USA in their last chance. I think it's a very long shot for that happening, but the story would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would be. And it's a time of transition for that program. Will they, go out with a bang in Conference USA? I don't know. I doubt it. History doesn't favor the Bulldogs in that regard. But they played strong last year, had a number of close losses last year.
They really did. I mean,
their defense, kept them in a lot of games, and then all of a sudden it just kind
of
goes away.
That New Mexico State game.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they're bowl eligible this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Bowl eligible.
Yes.
Is about as strong as I'm willing to say.
And that's not a failure.
Right. No.
I mean, we call it what it is. They were not a bowl team last year.
No.
I mean, we saw it in the bowl game. A great opportunity for them, and thankfully they were able to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Independence Bowl and everybody's very thankful that they were able to get in there.
Yeah.
But, we watched it. Yeah. We watched all those games. But I'm with you. I think this year they're back to form in the sense of they're going to a bowl. They're in the conversation. At least I hope. I do think so. But it's been, it's between them and Northwestern State struggling so much these past few years. And
it's been rough.
Grambling's really, by Grambling standard, hasn't been there either. So we need to get boosted up. Centenary's been the only thing that we've been super excited about, and that was because it was new, right? But we need a boost here for our local college athletics. Finally, the big one. LSU, Clemson, top 10 matchup in the other Death Valley, the fake Death Valley.
I won't call it fake. I'll just say the other Death Valley.
The other Death Valley.
Yeah.
Because it's
I'm cool. Like, back in my sophomore, freshman years at LSU, it was like, who cares about? It was the fake Death Valley, the fake Death Valley. I wasn't about to drop an F-bomb. But like, I guess as I've gotten older, it's just like, all right, y'all got y'all little traditions over there. Clemson,
yeah, like
Dabo Swinney, run down the hill, great, touch the rock, and don't trip.
Dude, he flies down that hill.
Yeah, make it about me, Dabo Swinney.
There it is.
Okay, so there it is.
We knew we could get it out.
I'm just like, LSU's on I think a 5-year run of losing their season openers.
I just looked it up. Yeah, 5 years.
So not ideal.
That's crazy.
I'll go negative if they end up losing in Clemson. I won't. Will it be the end of the season? No, it'll be slightly frustrating. But you lose to a top 5 team. Clemson's ranked third or fourth?
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth.
The fire Brian Kelly though. The tweets.
You get that.
It's 11
out of 12 games. 3 times a quarter sometimes to fire Brian Kelly.
It's gonna be. I mean, if they I think if they lose a close one,
don't stink up the joint. Is basically
right.
Don't go and embarrass the program.
You lose a close one, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's frustrating, but you're on the road at number 4. You should not be expected to win that.
Yeah.
But you can't stink it. And that's the thing. Like those past 3 season openers, they have not been good.
No.
Like at all.
They've started slow, looked sluggish, simple mistakes, and cost them in the end. Had to fight to try and get back in the game.
Right. And this is an LSU team that people are kind of looking at as a dark horse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Nuss Meyer gets number 18. And I guess, was he the first since Mock?
Quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Harry Perkins back. Wes Weeks.
Yep. The Weeks brothers.
Yeah. It's Whit Weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wes Weeks. I got politics on the brain with Wes's and governors in Maryland. That's a tangent.
I don't know right past that.
Yeah. Go Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, I think they win. I don't know, man. I just that with zero real information in this is straight up feelings, gut feeling. If I was placing a bet today, it would be Tigers outright. I think they're winning.
And Garrett, we trust.
Hopefully I think this is it.
The leg sleeve, the knee sleeve is working.
Yeah, right. But this is his moment, right? I mean, we've talked about it on this show. The past 2 LSU quarterbacks in their second seasons, they won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that Jaden Daniels didn't win a season opener.
Hey,
Crazy.
I know LSU beat Texas that one time when Joe Burrow. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. Yeah, I remember that.
That was their last season opening win. Right?
That was the
no. That was the weekend. Okay,
yeah.
So yeah.
What game was that?
Inaccurate information for me again.
What
I think it was Georgia Southern. They beat the brakes off of.
They did,
and then they.
You were in Austin.
I was in Austin for Louisiana Tech in Texas, and then the next week it was Louisiana State University.
Right, and I believe I was at Grambling.
Yeah.
That same day, I don't remember who.
2019.
They played. Yeah.
The before times.
Yeah, golly. All right, let's go to our interview because you just kind of blew my mind with that.
Yeah. We've been here for a while.
Look, high school football, obviously our huge focus this week and the next 15. Mm-hmm. So we thought we would get an expert on, like a real one, not us, to talk about
obviously
to talk about some
experts.
high school football from a different perspective, more of a recruiting aspect. We do got a lot of those in our area, a lot of big recruits. So Jerit Roser
with
Louisiana versus all y'all. We now welcome in a man that knows a lot about high school football in
Yeah.
Louisiana with the season right on the horizon. Jerit Roser with Louisiana versus all y'all in the house with us here with the Benchwarmers. And Daniel, a guy that you know from college.
Yeah, our LSU days have crossed paths, our friend groups, and yeah, just through the years, always running to Jarrett at whether at a sporting event or maybe a downtown establishment in Baton Rouge. But yeah, man, good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Anytime I get a chance to hang with a couple distinguished gentlemen like yourselves, I jumped on it, man. Appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, you're too kind right there, man. Tell our viewers a little bit about what you do, maybe if they're unfamiliar with your work.
Yeah, so I mean, the years are flying by at this point, but I've had to get into the habit of writing that I've been covering Louisiana high school sports and college sports and recruiting for 15 plus years now professionally. It's been a while, and like I said, it's flown by. But I have been with a variety of outlets since those early LSU days at the Daily Reveille. Was up in Monroe at the News Star. Came back down south with the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. Have been with Rivals. Have been with On Three. Have been growing Louisiana versus all y'all as well on the side. Prep Red Zone Louisiana is an outlet I've worked for kind of on and off the last few years as well. But it's been a little bit of a journey. Like I tell kids all the time, when I got to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and kind of, you know, got pushed a lot of different directions. Hey, go be a doctor. Hey, go be a lawyer. Do these different things, and none of that really interested me. And then I had a mass comm class where was kind of told, hey, you're a pretty strong writer. You should go write for the student newspaper. And I said if I was going to do that, I was going to do sports because that's what I loved. And then it just kind of continued to snowball from there. I thought I'd probably be more college focused and professional focused. Didn't do a ton of high school until I got to Monroe. And then at some point along the way, you just kind of fall in love with the stories and the personability of it. And just, I mean, the relationships with, I mean, athletes and their families and the coaches and those programs and the communities and everything that it means in a state like Louisiana in particular. And so everything I've done since then, really, as I get pushed to do more LSU, I don't ever want to give up the high school side. As you know, as I look at jobs that maybe are more focused on non high school and recruiting side, I always want to ask, is there a way that I can still keep that be a part of what I'm doing? Because that's where a lot of my passion has become. And so now suddenly it's 2025, and that's what we're doing. A ton of high school, ton of recruiting, but still staying involved with the college game as well.
Don't want to get too formal here on the Benchwarmers, but if you had to describe like maybe a mission statement for Louisiana versus all y'all, I mean, hey, Louisiana, we're here. This is our home state, and we are against everyone else. I guess is the main thing, but it's more about profiling these high school athletes. I'm correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Louisiana versus all y'all, I have a little statement that I've written on some of the like the Facebook page and different stuff like that. I don't remember it exactly, but it's essentially just about celebrating, particularly through athletics, but also aspects of culture and community, celebrating the next generations in particular of Louisiana and all of the successes and storylines, overcoming some adversity at times and just making sure that I can be another spotlight to some of those stories along the way. Because I think, I mean, growing up here, obviously, you kind of have a tendency to hear some of the national scale rankings and different stuff about Louisiana. You can feel like you get overlooked at times as a state, and want to know the opportunities, I guess, to do something big, or just, I mean, have a success on whatever level you're on at that time. And I think the more that these kids in particular can kind of have that spotlight shown on them and have the platforms like we all try to provide for them. It's a really cool experience for them. It's great memories for them and their families to be able to look back on in the future. And it's great for that next group of kids to kind of see, hey, if I go about things the right way, if I work hard, if I persevere, if I do whatever it is that I need to do, I can follow the footsteps of whoever, the guy a few years older than me was that I remember watching on some of these platforms. And that's to do too, is kind of keep up with a focus on the high school guys. I say guys a lot because it's pretty football centric starting out, but I do love when I get to dabble in some of the other sports. But the as much as I focus on the high school student athletes, I love to keep up with who's doing what at the next levels too. So even these current high school kids get a chance to hear and be kind of connected and be spotlighted by the same platform that they're seeing. Oh wait, Justin Jefferson was on this channel like not that long ago and stuff like that. I think it's kind of cool for them as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes you serve as a resource for information for guys like us that maybe see something that you put out and are like, oh wow, I didn't know that or something like that. But I loved what you said about your love for the high school game, and I think I can't speak for Daniel, but I know for me, we both dabble in news anchoring now, and in conversations I've had with my bosses, it's been if news is something you want me to do, great, but I'm not giving up high school football. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be for me. We just cover one area, though. You cover an entire state. How often are you able to travel? I mean, I know you do come up here at least once a season.
I try to get up there. I always say I never get to Shreveport, Monroe, and Lake Charles as much as I would like to. I've been in Baton Rouge for years, and it's worked out favorably to at least be fairly centrally located for Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain, or getting down to Thibodaux. Everything's within an hour, hour and a half, and part of what holds me back, honestly, from getting you know, taking the longer trips more frequently is just because covering the state is a little bit too much at times, and so am constantly scrambling and trying to take care of the next thing, and it ends up being more time efficient to hop on a StreamYard call with a Pop Houston or a Jamarce Plater or Kenny Darby or some of those guys and be able to um, cut out that 3.5 hour drive and use that 6 to 7 hours to be doing other things. And so it's just kind of the time component ends up being tough to travel around as much as I would like to. Because when I'm behind the wheel of the car, I'm not doing videos or stories or anything, but I try to get y'all's way at least once a season, maybe once a season, once in the spring for some 7-on-7 stuff, and certainly wish it was more.
And just looking at it from your vantage point of, the area codes 504, 985, 337, and then 318, what is the biggest difference in your mind of when you are able to travel or talking with various kids that maybe grow up in a 318 as opposed to a 337? What's maybe some of those regional aspects within the state itself that you find the biggest differences?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly some like city to rural dynamics that change some, and that changes even within some of the area codes outside of 504. Everyone's pretty metro type feel you know to it, but even in Baton Rouge area, once you get outside the actual city of Baton Rouge, it gets a little bit more of a country vibe to it. Pretty quickly. But I think everybody also, especially, I mean, these top student athletes that we're talking about, everybody's got kind of a certain Louisiana swagger to them, and you see that in a lot of ways. That's really fun when you get out to kind of the camp circuit and 7-on-7 circuit, and you see a level of pride and energy that comes with being a Louisiana guy. They know that for everything that we talked about before. A dynamic that Louisiana can get overlooked at times. They do know that this is a place that has great football in particular and has a history of producing guys that can go on to the NFL level, and so everybody kind of carries that to a degree is kind of a badge of honor, and knowing that they're a part of something special here to produce as much talent per capita to reach the NFL as any state in the country. And then from there, it's just, little subtle differences of being a little bit more rural, a little bit more country, the accents changing in different spots, even, around the New Orleans area or from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, and, little subtle differences there, or talking to guys from up more Sterlington, Bastrop Way, or Haynesville, and catching a little bit different of an accent, obviously, from some of my New Orleans guys. But that's about it. Ultimately, I think kids are kids. They want to be great. They want to excel, and they're excited to see what they can do on Friday nights and beyond. Again, when we're talking about football primarily.
Yeah, the you think just the 318 alone, you got
Yeah.
a school like Houghton and Byrd. The accents are a little different when
Right.
when you
Right.
start to break that down. But Jared, yeah, you mentioned a few names already of guys from our area that we know and we're going to be keeping an eye on. Who do you think maybe most impressed you in an interview setting from our area? Not necessarily on the field, but someone after you talk to him a couple times, you're like, wow, this kid's impressive.
Yeah, interview setting, of some of the guys that I mentioned there, I honestly, all of y'all's top quarterbacks in recent years, including the guys that will be back as part of these 26 and 27 classes with Luke Delafield, Pop Houston, Malachi Ziegler, as kind of the three that I know most and have been around the most. It's three really impressive young men. Obviously, they can sling the ball, but you just love the type of character kids that they are, and there's a reason why their teammates gravitate toward them so heavily. Um, and I mean, everyone that we've talked about so far, I've really enjoyed. Kenny Darby is a character. I think anybody that gets a chance to talk to him and he can get kind of comfortable around, you start to see some of his personality. Jamarcier carries himself with some really impressive confidence and swagger to him and always has. But, I think about Pop as someone that I've been watching clips of him growing up as a young football player from the time he was probably 6 or 7, and then talking to him as a middle school guy who was already impressing on the 7-on-7 circuit and in some spots, and the the mentality that he's always had through the years and at such an early age is probably one that stands out, just because of, again, how early some of that was, and sort of the depth of watching it progress as he's grown up over the last few years. But that, I know no matter who I said or didn't say, I'd end up feeling bad of who I'm forgetting. It's one of those type of things, but those guys have all been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Daniel and I can echo a lot of that because obviously we get to talk to them too, and they're all so great. Now you mentioned the running back at Captain Shreve, Jamarce Plater, and we ran our Captain Shreve story earlier last week. It's such an impressive story with him, right? He was on defense starting his career. He then goes into last season as the backup running back, injury in a scrimmage. He gets the start. He goes over 2,000 yards. I mean, this kid's come out of nowhere, committed to Wake Forest. Do you think that recruitment's done for? Or, I mean, I know he's already getting some other offers as we get close to the season.
It'll be interesting. A lot of the recruiting process is now wrapping up for most, FBS level guys prior to their senior seasons, both because more and more guys want to figure it out beforehand, and more of the colleges are pushing to know what their class looks like and have the high school recruiting as sewn up as possible before they go into season mode. And then when they get to December, they can focus on the transfer portal side of things. But, Jamarce is one of the guys I would certainly keep an eye on, just because you see a Colorado offer come in recently, and I think now as he goes into just his second year of big high school running back film, you'll see some more eyes on him, waiting to get an evaluation and see where he is now in his second year. A lot of times the first month of the senior season is when, if there's a guy that is maybe on your board, but you haven't quite pulled the trigger on just yet with an offer, you wait and see what those first games of seniors look like, and then you make the move. Or, sometimes it's junior year, like it was with Pop with that LSU offer last year. The Tigers were waiting to see the first 4 games of those junior quarterback or those sophomore quarterbacks, and then decided to make the move on Pop and some other guys. But it has been awesome to see it unfold the way it has for Jamarcier, because he was a tremendously talented underclassman. The previous couple years, loved him as a DB slash slot type guy. Thought really anywhere you put him on the field, he was going to have an opportunity to be an impact guy. And as soon as I heard he was getting some work last offseason to prep for a running back opportunity, it kind of clicked how good he could be there. And I know as he waited for some of that to unfold, I don't know that I would say he was impatient, but there are certainly moments where you realize how talented you are and you see offers going out elsewhere, and you have to really be mindful to not let that bug you or not get discouraged. And it took a little bit longer for him than I think he would have ideally liked at that time, but it really blew up for him, obviously, over the course of this calendar year, and has a great spot now in Wake Forest. And the Demon Deacons may have to hold off some other Power Four programs to try and keep him.
And as you're trying to navigate, these individual players and their recruiting process and trying to see who's getting the next offer and all that, how challenging is that for you to try and track everybody in all corners of the state and see where they're going and conducting interviews and trying to pick their brain on where they might decide to go next and play college?
It's a lot, and I'm hoping that as I get opportunities to kind of continue growing Louisiana versus all y'all, we're going to be getting some more folks involved to try and help just extend some of the coverage and be able to put spotlights on that many more student athletes, both football and otherwise, and also just have more eyes on our side, be able to catch if a new offer comes out or an interesting story, stuff that y'all do or any of the media around the state. If I see it, I try to share it to Louisiana versus all y'all page so it can become kind of a place where we're covering as many bases as possible, regardless of who's producing the content. Make sure we're getting as much of a spotlight and megaphone and whatnot to all those stories as possible. And I have a tendency to, my old editor at NOLA.com years ago told me I had a bad habit of trying to be everything to everybody all at once in a way that was going to burn me, because I couldn't stretch myself as thin as I tried to, but I just don't think I've learned that lesson still in a lot of ways. And so when I miss just an offer post on Twitter and I see, this kid got this offer a day or two ago and I missed it and didn't retweet it when it happened, I kind of beat myself up probably more than I should, because that's a bit absurd to do. But I've had a little bit of that this week as I worked on some other stuff, and a couple of offers that were a day or two away or in the rear view that I'd missed. But it is definitely a lot, and that is a good thing, because that means a lot of great things are happening for these Louisiana kids, and I'm just chasing around trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, man, and it is tough for us too, in a sense. Like as producing Friday Football Fever, you think so much more about the games you didn't get or the thing that you missed because your photographer had to go to another game, stuff like that. It's impossible to get a handle on all of it. You try to do the best you can, and with all that being said, where's Pop Houston going to play college football?
I like where you were going with that, and yeah, Pop. It's going to be really interesting to watch. I think probably before we see the calendar flip to 2026, we have an answer on that. I know that Pop and his parents, Sean and Naomi, have put in a ton of work on the road, getting out to a lot of these options. I mean, a great list of options that they have to choose from, getting all of the information gathered, seeing how these relationships to coaches, getting a sense of what the offenses look like overall and how these programs operate behind the scenes. And now they're looking forward to getting some game day visits on Saturdays in the coming months to see how some progress for some of these programs over the course of the 2025 season. And then would like to kind of have it figured out during this junior year for Pop and potentially before the turn of the new year, so that he can go be a face of a recruiting class for whichever school it is, whether it's an LSU or a USC or a Texas or Oklahoma or so many great options all over the country, and go help kind of build that class around him and let other top prospects know that he's locked into wherever it is that he's locked into, and that they'll have an opportunity to go play with him in college if they want to be a part of that class. But I think there's some forecasts out there for USC. I know that LSU and others remain very much a part of the conversation, but we'll see. And I don't think we're going to have to wait too long. We're not waiting another year and a half for this decision on senior signing day. He's going to try and figure it out so he can be a part of building for the future for whichever program that is.
And he kind of alluded to that when we had him on this show, saying he would like to, he anticipates getting it done this year. And for what it's worth, I know it means absolutely nothing. We were joking about this the other day. He was wearing a USC towel at practice last week. So
the towels and gloves can change by the day. It's like, I don't want to wear these today. I want to wear these today just to kind of sport it out. But in your 15 years of doing this professionally, Jerit, who's maybe the one player or players that when you saw them in person the first time, you were like, oh yeah, I know this is the guy. He's going professionally or at least high D1 and is going to succeed on that level? Anybody in particular that stands out to you that you just saw it and it was like immediate?
Yeah, I should do a better job of prepping myself for that type of question because every once in a while somebody will ask me, and I live so in the moment and trying to make sure I'm keeping up with everything happening. I don't do a great job of kind of looking back and reflecting. I mean, you know, as some recent ones, Jakeem Stewart, who signed with USC out of Edna Carr, played at St. Aug, and then the whole ordeal of transferring to Edna Carr senior year, reclassing up to 2025 and whatnot. Um, he's someone that to me, I think you saw as like an eighth grader and was just super impressive physically, and then also kind of an old soul and carried himself in a really impressive way, not unlike some of what we were talking about with Pop a few minutes ago. Um, Going back some years, Leonard Fournette, when I was still at NOLA.com, the Times Picayune, and watching that dude play all over the field for St. Aug and be seemingly unstoppable the vast majority of those Friday nights and Saturday afternoons out. Um, Jamar Chase was pretty special. I think for him, it wasn't, you saw some of the flashes of it early on, but it was really more toward the back half of his high school career where you realized he was someone that had a chance to be great. Um, and it's another one of those deals where I'll kick myself after for whoever I didn't say, but those are obviously some recognizable names, both past and present, for folks that definitely are among those standouts.
You'll be forgiven. I
Yeah.
tend to throw out a random, just kind of, hey, what do you think of this random?
If you were to ask me that question, I would just get the collective eye roll from everybody watching, and I
Right.
would say Dak Prescott
Right.
because we were watching him, because I
Yeah.
graduated with his brother. His other brother was a year older than me,
Yeah.
and so we were watching Dak from middle school. It was like, this guy's incredible, and when
Yeah.
he had all that success at Mississippi State, everyone was so surprised, and everybody
Yeah.
in Houghton's like, nah, dude, this is it, man. This is what we're, this is what
Yeah.
we've been watching. But Jerit, since you were kind of talking about out of town guys, let's jump way ahead. We're thinking playoffs, right? Brackets come out. You look at the matchups. If you're a team in the 3-1-8, what's a couple names of teams that you might want to avoid in a bracket?
So looking at like top South Louisiana teams you're hoping are not on your side of the bracket essentially for
Right.
like Shreveport area teams. Um, I mean, Carr is ridiculous. Once again, I know nobody outside of Algiers on the West Bank of New Orleans wants to hear that a ton. I've talked to some coaches throughout the offseason who said, "Man, didn't they graduate this guy, this guy, this guy?" And said, "Yeah, but they return this guy, this guy, this guy." Talking about guys like Richard Anderson and Aiden Hall and Hayward Howard and Mo Williams, guys that are committed to LSU, Texas, and Colorado, respectively. John Johnson, the quarterback, committed to Liberty, and all of those guys that graduated this past year, there were tremendous athletes kind of waiting in the wings that look like they're poised to step up and have great seasons as well. I think Carr is, and I mean, a lot of the familiar faces in that D1 select. Catholic High, Baton Rouge, I think is going to be really good again. A lot of the Catholic League in New Orleans is going to be really good, but Carr, to me, starting out the season is the team to beat on a statewide level, regardless of classification. Um, I'm interested to see how Central and Destrehan come along this year. I like that Northeast Louisiana district a lot on the non-select side with Neville and Ruston and West Monroe and Washita, who I think is going to be pretty good. But I'm interested to see how Central and Destrehan down south come along over the course of the season. Um, St. James is great. Union Parish or Sterlington's going to have to deal with them at some point. Madison Prep and U High and ED White are are all really interesting teams in D2 select. Calvary is probably going to have to deal with some familiar type program names. I think Lafayette Christian is going to be really, really strong in D3 select. Catholic New Iberia has to replace a lot, but I think they have some pieces there as well. They have some pieces there still as well, and are going to be a team to be reckoned with. Dunham returns a ton of its team from this past season that made it to the Dome, including their star quarterback Elijah Haven, who he and kind of the 1A, 1B in my mind in terms of the quarterbacks with Malachi Ziegler right there on their heels for that 2027 class. And I love Haynesville's odds in D4 non-select. They'll have to deal with some similar teams too. South Platte has to replace a lot, but from what I understand, they have a talented young group coming through. West St. John has been kind of back on the rise, and so they'll be interesting. Logansport, obviously, up in y'all's neck of the woods as well, as a team that I think people need to be taking pretty seriously. Um, those are some of the ones that stand out off rip sort of thing.
What about in the 318, a team like North DeSoto, with Luke Delafield heading into his senior year? Obviously, they just won a state title in baseball. Did the Griffins have a shot at making it back to the Dome this year?
Yeah, I think they're in that top tier of what should be a, once again, pretty open and competitive D2 non-select. To me, I think my top three in that bracket are probably North DeSoto, Franklin Parish, and then one from down south in Lutcher, who has to replace a couple of pieces, but brings back a good crew. Um, Opelousas, I think, takes a little bit of a step back. That's obviously a program that North DeSoto's run into and had to deal with in recent years. Cecilia graduated that great 2025 senior class. They have some talented guys, including a 2027 athlete, Braylon Calais, who is a big physical running back, pass catcher, has some quarterback background, strong safety, outside linebacker type kid. But I don't think they have quite the same depth and electric senior class that they had last year with Diesel Solari and Brent Gordon and Ellis Stewart and those guys. And so I I think Cecilia will be in the mix again. I think Franklinton will be in the mix again, but I think North DeSoto's, to me right now in August, their biggest competition in that bracket is probably Franklin Parish and Lutcher, but we'll see as, obviously the next couple months develop.
I got so many things I want to ask you. Daniel's the only other person that I talk to that knows all this stuff about high school football. So, what about 1-5A?
Oh man, I know.
I feel like
Yeah,
1-5A is.
I know it was like the.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say like the amount of times that like my brother or my girlfriend or will ask me about different work stuff, and I have to take a second and think about how much of this is worth getting into to even get to the context of like y'all knowing the storylines and backgrounds and whatever,
Right.
or how much am I just going to wear myself out and in the meantime you start eye rolling before I even get to the point of it all, because we're in this incredible high school sports bubble that you lose sight of the fact that there's other things happening around us at times, and there's people out there that aren't as enthralled with everything happening on a Friday night as we are, where it's like the biggest thing in the world, obviously, when we're around it. But sorry about that.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. I mean, I feel for my wife because she has to listen to all my, man, I just really love this Calvary team. You know what I mean? She doesn't know what I'm talking about or care, but she listens.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about 1-5A, and it feels like it's maybe a little more open this year. I mean, Airline having to replace Ben Taylor, and Parkways should be very much improved. I know Shreve has some issues with their quarterback transferring. What do you think about 1-5A?
I'm right there with you. Honestly, I'd love to hear more of y'all's thoughts on it. I think it's a league that the past couple of years I've looked at and thought it had a chance to be really fun, really competitive, and obviously last year with Ben and Kenny and those guys, Jarvis still there opposite Kenny and everything, and just a great senior class all around for the Vikings. You kind of gave them the edge after what you'd seen in their step forward the previous year, but obviously huge shoes to fill with those 25 graduations for airline. And so I think it opens the door a little bit more. I still think they're certainly in play to be as good as anyone there. You have now another year under the belt for the Evangel guys and Pop and all those weapons, and how can they come along in the trenches and on defense and whatnot to kind of complement some of the ridiculous things they're able to do on offense. And so I think it feels fairly open to me. I have my eyes probably most heavily on Airline and Evangel, but um, I mean, shoot, Jamarce ran for 2,200 yards
Right.
last year. You talked about an improved Parkway, and that list just goes on. I mean, 5 or 6 teams deep that you look at and say they probably have a chance to beat anyone else on a given Friday night or Thursday night or whatever it ends up being, and so it makes it an awful lot of fun. But for me, I'm going into this season in a lot of still kind of information gathering and how are some of those big shoes that have been left by graduations, how are they going to be filled, and how are these teams going to come together over the course of these few months? Because if I had to bet on a 1-5A champion, I wouldn't feel overly confident about it necessarily right now. I'd want to go bet on some other districts first.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I was at almost everyone but Huntington, I think, for practices this preseason. And I would say the team that I think impressed me most was probably Parkway, because you've got your quarterback back. He was hurt last year. Antonio Gladney's back in the mix, and he is so skilled. Coach Brotherton was telling us he's going to play. He's not leaving the field. He's doing the Travis Hunter thing this year, and he's not coming off the field. And I love them, but like Jerit said, Airline is, it's hard to argue with Airline with Kenny Darby. It's just Airline defense. Can they? And they told me this is the best they've been on defense since Scoggins been there. You also hear that about every side of every ball of every team at this time of year. But yeah, Airline, Parkway, Evangel, it is going to be a fun league, and I think teams like Houghton and Benton have improved as well. Like I think it's overall. Yeah. I think the competitiveness in that league is going up,
and just kind of adding to that District 1-5A discussion, Alex is a little bit more centrally focused on it because he can get to those previews. Right. In our preview schedules, Alex is more able to get to the Shreveport, and I'll go out to a Logansport or a Haynesville. Yeah. But don't sleep on Bird,
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Because Bird's just always there, stable, can, if you can't stop their quote-unquote basic attack, they will run all over you all night. And whether this district is separated by 1 or 2 games, it won't be a runaway either way. So it's really anybody's district, as you mentioned, the quarterback situation at Shreve. Yeah. Evangel's pretty set at quarterback, I think. So they always got a shot in every game. But yeah, it's going to be one of the more entertaining districts. Every year it kind of comes down to week 8, 9, 10 on who's going to win it all.
Yeah, man, Jerit, we usually have some silly stuff that we do at the end, but we're really running out of time. I got a 3 o'clock show I got to get ready for. We got to have you back on here. I feel like I left 20 questions on the table that we can still ask.
Yeah. Well, I think we got one silly question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I guess we'll go on, since you're traveling occasionally to go to these different spots around the state, what's your one guilt-free meal, no health repercussions that you got to get, whether it's in Shreveport, Monroe, Laffey, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, New Orleans? What's your number one restaurant I got to hit up when I'm on the road?
Man, I don't know. And that's something I love too, is especially, back when I was a little bit younger, the metabolism was a little bit stronger and it didn't hurt me quite so much to eat as much fried food and whatnot as I love to eat. I would usually go try and find some place to post up and finish up some final work for the Monday through Friday week before some games kicked off. Just find some place that was close to each school to set up and wait till we got closer to kickoff. But I don't know that I have one. And honestly, it's turned into such a scramble for me recently where I feel like I'm getting straight to games and then straight back home to be up, or to internet at least, to be uploading videos and stuff as quickly as possible, especially doing more college stuff. Like, do I have to turn around and go to an 11 a.m. Tulane kickoff or a 2:30 LSU or whatever it may be? And then also, I feel the fried food a little bit more heavily than used to once upon a time, and so I try to be a little bit better now. I know that's not a great answer, but it's another one of those, just thinking back and having trouble zeroing in on just one, and also realizing how much stuff has kind of developed and how much I'm on scramble mode all the time.
When does Buc-ee's in Ruston open? Because that'll be a go-to. I mean, that'll be you got to go to Ruston now. Right. They got a Buc-ee's.
Well, aren't they opening one? I think they're opening one in Lafayette as well, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Lafayette's getting into the mix too. So.
Oh, and y'all are getting some Southern Classic chicken down south. That's happening.
Yeah, I did see that, and I've never had Southern Classic still. Um, Again, I don't get up to Shreveport as much as I should, but even on my trips up there, I've never had it. And so that will be something I'll probably, as folks watch this or listen to this, I'll probably hear from some folks up in Shreveport that are disappointed in me, and I'll have to get over there pretty quickly.
Well, the line's always ridiculous. So if you next time you're here, hit us up. We'll just bring you. We'll bring you to studio and we'll get you some chicken. As they are the proud sponsor of our show. So we'll get you in studio and we'll get you some Southern Classic, and it'll change your world, man. It'll change everything for you.
Sounds good to me. And like y'all said about potentially having me back, I mean, it's been a pleasure. And anytime I can hop on with you guys, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know.
All right, Jerit, you are the man. We appreciate you taking some time, man. Best of luck this year. And like you said, we're going to reach out to you here as we get into the season. We'll catch up with you again. All right, Jerit, I think we found a recurring guest. I think that went pretty well. I mean, he had a little delay going there on the Zoom, but that's just technology. There's nothing you can do with that.
Yeah, Jerit's a great resource. Always, providing good content, covering these kids around the state. Gets to as many games as he can, and good pal from LSU days. And
I meant to say this to him when we had him on, but I totally forgot. I always feel like real good when he retweets something from a Friday night. I'm like, all right, we did it. We did something.
So everybody in the state's going to see that.
Right. But just the fact that he saw it and was like, oh, this is bam. I want to, I love that. So thank you, Jerit. You're the man. We'll have you back on maybe mid-season or something to kind of get an update on some of these guys.
Yeah.
The KTBS Fantasy Football League has been drafted.
Yeah.
For the second year in a row, I'm putting all of the chips on Justin Jefferson, which I don't know. I forgot that he has J.J. McCarthy as his quarterback.
Hey, man. He's still JJ. He's still Justin Jefferson. He's still elite, and he's going to get his catches. He's going to get his touches, and he's going to score.
But the real thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is why we need Matt on the show sometimes, was it second or third overall, Matt? Second overall, Matthew takes Cam Ward, quarterback.
Sucker worms.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, man. Believe in your guy.
Listen.
He could have picked him last.
Right.
No one was taking him.
No. That was a show of confidence and a show of force.
And so now what's happening is he's playing all the embarrassing things I say on TV in my ear.
Listen.
So that's why I keep laughing.
Unplug myself.
But that was quite the shock. I mean, right off the rip.
Turd face.
First. Who got picked first? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I wasn't I'd heard
Jamar Chase. Right?
I heard the ESPN chime in my ear.
So Madison picks Jamar Chase. Good job, Madison. Not a huge football guy.
Yeah.
Great pick. And then
he actually was trying to ask me for some fantasy advice beforehand. And I was just like, I can give you one nugget, don't draft a quarterback first.
Right.
That was my advice. And then
Matt.
he asked something else, and I was just like, I can't give you more advice. This is, yes, it's a joke, fun league, but I'm not gonna give too much advantage to the competitor.
It made me joy I got from seeing that Cam Ward pick was just.
Hey man, tighten up.
Love it. Tighten
I think
up.
that's the slogan.
Yeah, and I want the Titans to do well.
I want L'Jarius Sneed to do well for the Titans.
I root for Matt. I root for the boys.
Recently off the PUP list, looking for Sneed. Sneed him, baby.
I'm living vicariously through any one of my friends this year who has a successful NFL team.
Yeah.
I want to live vicariously through them because we got to buckle in.
Man,
brutal. I know we already talked about this, but it's worth repeating.
Yeah,
it's gonna suck.
It won't be great, but if you don't emotionally invest, then it'll be all right.
Yeah, dude, but that's the problem. They're gonna
kill your emotions, Alex. Turn your emotions off and stop caring.
Can't do it. That's just not me. I'm not a guy that would take Spencer Rattler in the second overall in the fantasy draft.
Right.
But I do love.
Maybe Tyler Shucking the 7th or something. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I'm a little concerned about. I got Stafford, which I have him on the bench. I got Jalen Hurts. I feel like Hurts, tush push, and touchdowns might work out for me. But
I'm more of a brotherly shove.
Yeah,
it's
cuter
rather than the tush push. But I don't know. The Eagles are probably going to win the NFC East again and maybe go back to back.
Yeah.
They're good.
In terms of grades, did you look at the grades for the teams?
I got a B
Yeah.
in my email inbox.
Me and our last season's winner, Courtney Butts, were ranked first. Matt was dead last.
Yeah, my strategy this year was like, who is the best available, and do they have a connection to LSU or the Saints?
Oh, dude, you were picking Saints plays off the rip.
Yeah.
I
got Alvin Kamara. I know that.
I was going Kamara
Yeah,
too
yeah.
next. I was like, dang it.
I got Joe Burrow, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good there. Like, I'm gonna root for my guys.
I had Burrow last year, and let me tell you, beginning of the year, very frustrating, but it got real nice.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
The Bengals offense will be great.
Yeah, and
the
I've
defense,
got,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love Josh Jacobs. I got him as a running back. I went David Montgomery again because he gets a lot of the touchdowns.
Yeah.
That
I know people love hearing about other people's fantasy teams. Like, that's just like the favorite thing. People love hearing about other people's fantasy teams.
I was trying to see how long we could do this until you got.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I really just wanted to like keep bringing it up that Matt picked Cam Ward second overall.
Go Titans.
Just a beautiful. And, there's no way he's playing that over the air. Nah. And he'll tell it. Okay, well, Logan said it is, so
All right.
this is going to be a fun episode. This is going to be a fun episode. So you played Secra Worms on the air? I mean, it obviously...
Secra Worms.
That was me trying to pronounce the word screwworm.
It happens like that.
Yeah, it's
Secra Worms.
I challenge anyone that wants to talk mess to get out there in front of that camera, put your powder on, and get out there and read screwworms when it's not separated as two words and it's one big word. And so it's like a big double W, and I don't know what that is. I'm looking at it 2 seconds, like half a second, my brain has to react.
Yeah.
So I said Secra worms. That's my TO.
Yeah. What am I ticked off about this week? Yeah. Nothing major that I want to talk about on air.
We messed up. Letting him do that.
Yeah. I'm good.
All right. Well, socks. I got Sabres today.
Dragon Ball Z socks.
There you go.
I need to start buying some other animal, like some Cowboy Bebop, some Gundam socks.
Okay, you know what's funny? So
Maybe once I'm done paying for wedding stuff, then I'll start buying some frivolous items.
before we started, or in the middle of the first segment, right?
Yeah.
I was having IFB issues.
I unplugged myself.
I just had to unclog the earpiece and we were good. And so I did that during the interview. Logan came in with batteries. I shooed him away. We're good. We don't need batteries. It just died. So I'm whatever Matt's saying, I don't got it. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Right.
We thank you for listening to it. This was a wild one. This was our first normal recording in a month.
In a while, yeah. Louisiana Tech plays Southeastern. Grambling plays Langston University.
And
Northwestern State plays Alcorn State, and LSU is on the road against Clemson at the other Death Valley.
all right, let me give you let me give you another one. Not college football. Who does Atlanta High School play to start the season?
Pleasant Grove.
He's good. All right, hold up. Who does? I just did the schedule, so it's fresh on my brain.
All right.
Trying to think of a good one. Who's Hallsville play? Thursday night. You got it wrong on schedule.
A team in Texas.
Lindale.
Is it Lindale?
Yeah, but it's Thursday as well.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
I put Friday?
Yeah, it may have been a late.
Did I get the team right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we're good.
KYTX is streaming it on Thursday. That's the only reason I knew.
Gotcha.
So shout out to those guys. All right, we're going to go. Please join us for the Fever this week, 10:30 KPXA CW21. It is the Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever scores and highlights show.
Or Southern Classic Chickens Friday Football Fever.
Nice and easy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Don't tell anyone about Matt's soundboard. It's a very secret thing that we want to keep. So if you hear it, shh, be quiet. We'll see you on the Fever, and then we'll see you on the Benchwarmers next week.